Hey everyone, I can see people are starting to see that we're live now, so that's great. We're just going to wait a few minutes for everyone else to get the notifications and then we'll start. For those of you that are here, I'm Angela from Cake Angel, and this is the first in my Sweet Rambling series where you basically just get to hear me ramble on and talk all things sweet with some of my baking friends. So let's just see who's here. Hi, I can see Carrie's here. Devon is here as well, obviously. So thanks for joining us, guys. Devon, I'm going to try and bring you on now. Let's see if I can work this out. This is the first time I've done this live, guys, so you're going to have to bear with me while I work this out. Here we go. Hi to Sweetie Pies as well. I see you just joined us too.
Hello. Okay, can you hear me? It's working?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear. I can't see you yet. I just think there's a bit of a lag with it.
Okay. I can see myself and I can see you, but...
Okay. That's okay. Let me just check my settings, make sure I'm not doing anything different. As long as you can see me, that's fine. We can start anyway. So there's a couple more people joining us as well, so that's great. So basically just a quick run through of what we're going to do this evening. So this is the Sweet Rambling series that I'm starting today. Devon kindly agreed to be my first guest for this. I'm really excited that you're here, Devon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Basically, what we're going to do is talk about different things that come up when you're in the cookie industry or if you're a baker in general. Different things that you might find your inspiration from, and just have a good chat, really. I'm sure there's lots of things that'll come up that most of you that are bakers will have thought of as well. So I'm going to let Devon just give a bit of an introduction to herself first. So Devon, if you want to just tell us about yourself and what your name is on here and where you got started.
Sure. My name is Devon. My Instagram name is Sugarcat Cookies. I've been doing cookies for almost a year, seriously. I kind of got started last summer. I did some of the How to Cake It classes, which I think is how a lot of people got started, and it was kind of started a bit of a cookie revolution, online cookie class revolution. I've met a lot of friends kind of starting out those classes who I'm still friends with now, but kind of just took off, and I started designing my own cookies. I'm a graphic designer by profession, so the creative side kind of appealed to me, as well as the baking side, and I just started making cookies and turned into a bit of an obsession, and it hasn't really stopped. I recently had some issues with my Instagram account, but I had a pretty fast growing Instagram account that is in a hiatus right now with Instagram, so I'm on a secondary account right now. But yeah, I put out an online Procreate cookie design class a couple months ago. It's all like happened pretty fast. Like I didn't really know where I wanted it to go, but I love making cookies. I love the cookie community, and I've realized I really enjoy teaching and sharing, especially design resources and answering people's questions and helping people out. So yeah.
I think what you said about the cookie community is so true. It's such a positive and supportive community, and myself with my background being in cakes, I've always found that bakers just love to talk about baking and, you know, making people happy through what they bake, and it is such a nice, you know, uplifting community too. So that's partly why I decided to do this, is just to give everyone a chance to see who's behind the Instagram profiles and things as well, because we don't often get to put ourselves out there. Some of us are a little more shy in front of the cameras, so this is a good way to do that. And you mentioned that your background is in graphic design. Do you find that you pull a lot of your inspiration from those kind of trends as well with cookies?
Yeah, I'd say so. I definitely, I find with cookies, it can make me take way longer than most people with my designs, because I always want to start with something really original, as opposed to, you know, kind of like going with something I've seen before. I'll take inspiration from a bunch of places, like, you know, design and other cookies, and I'm like, oh, what can I come up with that's kind of new and different? And that's part of it that I really enjoy. So it's been I've been doing the design stuff for a long time, and it's almost like, not like took the joy out of it, but when it's a profession, it's not quite the same as when you're just doing it for yourself. So this has been sort of like a rekindling of just creativity just for myself, I guess. So it's been a lot of fun.
Do you find you get inspiration from the craziest places as well? I know I do when I'm just looking at, say, my kids' books, and I think, oh, that would make a great cookie.
Oh,
Does that happen to you as well?
Yeah, I just posted in my stories, actually, I was packing my overnight bag and I had these beautiful pink flowers on. I'm like, oh, I need to make that into a cookie. And actually one of my like most popular cookies I ever made, like that had the most feedback on Instagram, was like a box of bath stuff from like London Drugs, just like generic bath stuff, and it had this beautiful floral design on it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make that into a cookie, and it was like one of my most popular cookies. So it's fun to just find things too to cookie when I'm tired of coming up with original things. It's nice to pick something to copy, basically. Take inspiration from.
To cookify it. Yeah. It's so true. I just want to check, can everyone that's watching see Devon as well? I'm wondering if it's just me that can't see you. Maybe there's a setting that I need to click, but everyone else that's watching, can you see Devon? I feel strange to talk because I can only see myself. So.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, Carrie says, hi, Carrie. That's my mom, by the way.
Oh, hi. Thanks for joining us.
My mom is actually an amazing colored pencil artist, and she just launched a website and started doing commissions. So that is her new Instagram account there.
So you have an artistic background in your genes then, really?
I guess so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think I kind of picked it up from my dad too. He's always been interested in decorating, not cookies, not anything with baking, but he's always had that little bit of artistic side too. So I think it just translates then, that somehow you work your way into it at some point. So well, that's good. Everyone can see us, so that's perfect.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
So
you can't see me.
Question. Yeah, maybe it's something, I don't know. As I say, it's the first time I've done a shared one before, so maybe there's a setting I need to change. But as long as everyone else can see, that's fine. So where did you get your name from, Sugarcat Cookies?
That's like not a very interesting story. Like there's no great backstory to it or anything. I just it was actually really early on, and I didn't even know. I'm like, oh, should I make like a page for my cookies? Like I just keep posting them on my personal Facebook page, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll make a name. And just like sitting there, and my cat was there, and I was just like, Sugarcat, that's a cool name. That's like catchy sounding. So I like cats. I've always been a cat lover, so it's kind of based on that, but it's more just it sounded cool, and I pictured a little cute cat logo that I wanted to make. So
it's cute. Yeah, I think it's different as well, isn't it? And it's always nice if there's some kind of, you know, why not, just because it's cute. So I love it. I think it's a really good name.
I have had some people call me Cat though. Like they'll message me and they'll say, hi Cat, and you know, they'll ask me a question. I'm like, oh, I didn't really think of that. My name's not Cat, but it's okay.
Yeah, I guess they think it's a play on your name. Yeah. That would make sense. Do you have a cat?
I do. I have 2 cats. Yes.
There we go then. So tell us more about your Procreate class then. You recently launched that, and I've not actually taken the class because I don't have Apple products, unfortunately, but it looks amazing, and I've seen some of the things people have made from it. So go through and tell us more about that.
Yeah, it actually started as when I joined the Cookiers group that you're in as well, which is an awesome kind of cookie motivation / business advice support group. We had this 90-day challenge, and we were supposed to come up with something that we want to do for our business. And at the time, I didn't even know really that I wanted to make this a business. But I started trying to think of something I could do that I would enjoy doing, and that could hopefully turn into a bit of a business because I spend so much time doing it. So it would be nice to make a little bit of money doing it. And I settled on the Procreate class because I had used Procreate quite a bit myself for illustration and graphic design, and I just naturally picked it up when I started planning cookies. And then I had no idea that other people were using it, and then I would see people mention, oh, I use Procreate to plan my cookies. And I thought, oh, like people are, okay, other people are using this. And, you know, I saw people asking questions about it. I'm like, oh, well, I know quite a bit about Procreate, and I could probably make a class. And I started out thinking, I don't know if it'd be any good. I don't know, like really doubting myself. But our group definitely helped with that. And like you like to talk about self-limiting beliefs too. And they were very real. Like I don't really think of myself as not thinking I can do something. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm pretty confident I can do what I set my mind to. But I really had a block in my mind of like, oh, I can't like put a course together and, you know, put it out on the internet. Like I can't do all that. But I just started doing it step by step, and I set a launch date and launched the class. And my goal was to sell 30 copies of the class, and so far I've sold over 100. And I've got lots of good feedback, and you know, I've seen people mentioning it in cookie groups and recommending it to other people. So it's like, it's amazing really to see that it's helping people, and, you know, people posting work they've done after taking my class, and like just super rewarding, feeling like I've helped some people out. And I would like to continue doing some design related teaching for cookies, because it seems like an area that there's not a ton of classes and resources for. There's a lot of cookie classes, decorating classes, but not a whole lot of like, you know, where do I get ideas from? How do I design my cookies? And how do I make original designs? So it's been a lot of ideas going through my head for what's next.
And I think that's sometimes something that you see a lot on the forums as well, is how do I come up with those designs, and how do I translate it to paper or on your device, and, you know, then make that cookie become a reality. And it sounds like it's just helping people plan their sets a lot better as well. So that's great. Do you have some examples there that you can show from the class?
I do. I just have this one because the other ones got kind of old, and I kept this one because it was, I think, my favorite. I actually designed a set of 4 cookies for the class. So instead of just kind of generally teaching Procreate, I thought, well, let's design an actual set. And we started with like a pretty simple bird, and then this one got a little more complex. So I taught people, you know, how to actually draw this outline from inspiration, like photos of a vase with flowers, and how I would actually do it from start to finish. And then also how to actually make the outline of this and make a custom template for hand cutting, or a cutter if you have a 3D printer. But that's another thing I think people ask me about a lot is like, can you do outlines? Can you create cutters from Procreate? And you definitely can. It's pretty easy. So that was one of the cookies. And then I had a couple more complex ones that are now long gone because this is a few months ago, but where I focused on some more in-depth, more complex drawing tools, how to draw circles and duplicate shapes, and a bunch of stuff like that. So, oh, hi, Shay.
She says, sorry, I'm late. You're not late, you're good.
So yeah, and since then I did one live session that was kind of a bonus as for the class, and I sort of brought some extra techniques and stuff that I didn't teach in the class. So that's like a little extra that's in the class Facebook group now too.
So what's the plan? Do you have a plan for what's next with the Procreate?
You know, I don't really yet. I'm not a huge planner. I'm a very sort of idea and inspiration based person, and then once I get an idea, I really have to set a deadline for myself to actually make it happen, or I'll get distracted with the next exciting thing that comes into my head. So having the 90-day project was great for the Procreate class to help myself focus on that. But I also had a decorating guide for these 4 cookies that is on my website that I enjoyed doing. So sort of while I'm figuring out maybe some more class stuff, I'd like to design a few sets maybe And then I had my friend Nori, who's also in the cookie cutter, the cookie cutters, the cookiers. She sold a set of cutters for me for that guide. So I would like to design a couple more sets and a couple more guides, and maybe focus on just creating some pretty sets while I figure out if there's something kind of bigger in the whole design class teaching thing.
Mm-hmm. And do you enjoy the teaching side of it? I know that, so teaching is something that I've done for quite a number of years, and I find it's almost more rewarding than the actual baking now, because it's helping people to achieve their goals as well. So is that something you're probably going to focus on more in the future, do you think?
I think so. I didn't know if I would enjoy it, but I found I really did. And when I get interested in something, I tend to like to talk about it a lot, and there's not a lot of, regular people in my life who want to listen. So having sort of a space where I can actually like share what I'm working on and talk about what I've learned and have it actually help other people and have it not be just me talking and talking is, it's like you said, it's very rewarding. And I find like small things, like something that I thought, oh, that's something I always do, it's not a big deal. But then I think back, I'm like, well, I saw someone else do that a long time ago, and it took me a while to figure that out. And it's like, I'll mention something and someone will say, oh, thank you so much. And I'm like, oh, like when we're doing this stuff all the time, just, just talking about, we don't even really know what might be helpful for someone else. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I find with teaching too. It's just, like you say, it's the little things that we take for granted because we've done it for so long. And it could just be changing the position that somebody holds a bag, and all of a sudden it clicks, and then they're good to go. And it's the little things. So yeah, it's very rewarding. So let's do a quick fire round. I have just you've seen all these this and that things that people post on their Instagram. So just a few. Don't think too long about these.
Okay.
Just give me your instant answer. So projector or freehand?
Projector, absolutely.
Paint or airbrush?
Paint.
Tips or tipless?
Tipless, but I've started doing more tips. Sorry.
I knew that'd be a bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck on that one too, because I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
So this one, I think I know what you'll say for this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Fondant or royal icing?
Well, royal icing is definitely what I'm most experienced in, but I've been messing around with fondant lately, and I do love how fondant tastes. I wish that royal icing just tasted like fondant. Or butter.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
I think I would probably say fondant, because I love working with royal icing, but I love that fondant is more instant in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You're not having to leave it dry for as long. Okay, last one, bright colors or pastel colors?
I think I'm kind of known for my bright colors.
Yeah.
Even when I try to make things like a more subdued color palette, it always turns out to be bright colors. So
I was gonna say, if anyone checks out your account, they'll see straight away.
Yeah.
You are awesome at the bright colors. I have to say, you get your color matching really well. So,
oh, thank you.
And then the last one is just a question for you. What is your favorite cookie flavor to eat?
I'd have to say probably chocolate. I love like a good chocolate cookie of any kind, really. Sugar cookie, chocolate chip cookie. I like chocolate cookies.
Yeah. My favorite, I think, for the longest time has always been vanilla. I think it's just what I was brought up with, and I'm not very adventurous.
I do love just like a plain vanilla sugar cookie. Like I prefer it, without icing, just like, especially like warm out of the oven and like a little bit brown on the bottom. Like I could eat so many of those. And then once it gets the icing on it, I find them quite sweet. So they don't tempt me quite as much. Not to say I don't eat them, because I definitely eat way too many.
Yeah. I think that's one of these bakers' dilemmas as well, is trying not to eat everything that you make, especially with me, because I don't sell what I make. So there's a balance.
Yeah, I've had to stop. When I started, I always made like an extra cookie for every design in a set, like as a backup. And now I just don't. I'm like, I'm risking it. If I have to make another cookie, I'll I'll have some dough in the freezer and I'll make another one on the fly. If I have extras, it's like, well, I'll just eat them. So.
Yeah. So we did have a question that came in earlier, and it was just about cookie dough in general and whether you have a preference in chilling your dough or not. And I know a lot of cookies are very set. They have a recipe that they use, and that kind of determines whether they chill their dough or not. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I always chill my dough. I usually just make a bunch and then wrap it. I roll it out, wrap it in saran wrap, and I usually just put it straight in the freezer. Even if I'm using it that day, I'll just leave it in there for a while. And then I'll cut out my shapes and I'll usually put my cookie sheet back in the freezer for like 10 minutes before I bake it. I just find like I use the Lila Loa 2.0 vanilla recipe. That's like my go-to. And she says that one you don't have to chill. And I've tried not chilling it. I just find I can never get like a nice, really defined shape without chilling. And I really do like a nice sharp edge cookie. And I do a lot of pretty like precision designs. And if it spreads at all and I go and I put my projector on it, it's like even a little bit bigger than it's supposed to be. I'm like, that just bugs me. So I definitely chill, like it cold. And I've started using the perforated mats too to make even less spread, which I really like. So yeah,
they seem to be the latest trend. I've noticed that that they're a bit of a game changer for everyone. I haven't tried them yet, but they do sound as if they can make a huge difference to people. And I'm a no chill cookier, so maybe I should get them and actually see if they make any difference as well. So yeah, that's interesting.
I'd be curious to know. They do, and they make a nice like really even brown on the bottom too, I find. Whereas if even I used to use parchment before, and I found it can kind of make a patchy bottom and a little bit uneven, and the perforated mats just have a really nice even bake on the bottom. So
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, how the new tools come out and then people can just slightly change the way they do things. So speaking of tools, what's the one thing that you couldn't do cookies without? Whether it's a tool when you're decorating or something you absolutely always have to use?
I would say definitely my projector, also my iPad, because I use it for planning, and I also use it for projecting from and looking up things on the fly and looking up image references while I'm working. So those things, and then also I recently bought a good ring light, which has made a big difference. And I have a lot of trouble working without a good light because I get weird glare and it drives me crazy. Or like I take a lot of videos and my videos are yellow, so a good light is definitely a must for me.
I would agree. As you know, we've talked about ring lights as well, and they make a huge difference. If you don't have a lot of natural daylight, which some cookies are really lucky with the position of their house, but we live in a house where I don't get a lot of natural light, so ring light does definitely make a difference. Is there anything that you have on your wish list of what you would like to buy next just to help with your cookies?
When I got started, I'm the type of person who buys all the things. So I definitely spent a lot of money when I first got started. I bought a projector and a 3D printer really early on just because I was so into it and I was enjoying it so much. So it was like a flurry of spending and kind of building up my toolkit. And now I feel like I pretty much have all the essentials and everything I need. I guess if there was anything I would really want, it would be a dedicated cookie space, because right now I have a cupboard where I keep all my stuff and I work in the kitchen, which works okay, but it would be really nice one day to have an actual cookie decorating area so I could just leave everything out and not have to worry about, kids knocking things over so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you on that. We've just actually finished a space for me where I can work, and it's nice to not have to worry about the kids putting their hands on things, and yeah, it definitely makes life easier. So what's next for you? What are you working on right now?
I've sort of, my momentum hit a bit of a block when my Instagram account disappeared one day. So right now I still don't know if that's coming back, and I've kind of been working on posting on another account, but it's been kind of nice in a way because I had been working really hard on posting quite regularly, and right now it's I don't have my old account to post to. I have tons of content I can post to the new account, so I've had a little more time to think and think about what I want to do next. I would like to put together an STL library for, I have so many cutter designs, and I always have people asking me, you know, which cutter did you use, and do you sell cutters? And I don't think I'm quite ready to sell physical cutters, but I could definitely put together an STL library on my website so people could access those. I'm actually doing Lucy Radcliffe's cookie cutter. She's doing a 3D printing and cookie cutter design course this month that's going to be pretty comprehensive. Nice. So I'm looking forward to that, kind of seeing how she works, because I've, as you know, we've discussed troubleshooting with 3D printing many times. It's like a love-hate thing. I love my 3D printer, yes. But it can drive me crazy at times. So it'd be nice to kind of get all the details from someone who sells them on a regular basis and has figured out kind of a lot of the stuff that comes up. Yeah,
I think it's something I've learned over the last year is how much technology that you can use to help with cookies, and a 3D printer is something we picked up last year as well, and that's a whole different ball game. It's amazing when they work, and you're at the stage when you can design and print, but yeah, I think we could probably do a whole talk on just those. Yeah. Maybe we should one day. Yeah.
Yeah, my printer it's actually right now, it's actually working pretty good. And it's like, I'm, you know, holding my breath every time I do something, because I'm just waiting for it to like something to go off and it to get angry at me. But it's been working pretty well. Thanks to some of your tips, actually. Turned the temperature up a little more. That helped quite a bit. So.
They're kind of like cookies in a way. You just have to tweak them a little bit every so often, and the weather can make a difference. And yeah. There's all sorts of things to keep an eye on. Yeah. So just for anyone that is watching, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments for us as well. I think that was it from me. Actually, you talked briefly about scheduling, how that's changed now because you're on your second account for now. How do you normally do you schedule things in advance, or do you just kind of do them on the fly as you make your content?
Yeah, I haven't really got into like a sort of a disciplined schedule. I usually have an idea what I want to do for the week, and I'll just I'll write it down in my planner. You know, I'll make a set, and I really like to try to get as many posts as I can out of a set, because you know, we spend so much time doing this, and it's I find it's actually almost more helpful to post more of the same set, because as people kind of see it and they see it again, and kind of get some more engagement, and you get to talk about the different cookies in your set. But yeah, I've really I do use an app to kind of plan out my posts for the next day, but I haven't really gotten into like writing out my posts more than a day ahead. I'll usually write it the night before and have my photo ready, and I like to post it pretty early because I found if I post after like 8 a.m. Pacific time, posts usually don't do as well. So that's what I've been trying to do. But the whole social media side of it has definitely been a big interest for me, which I didn't plan at all when I started. I was just enjoying making the cookies, and then I discovered the whole online cookie community and met a whole bunch of people, and it became, especially with COVID, really my social life for the time being.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same, we all feel the same way, that there's, so when we met through the World Cookie Summit and then the Cookie Years, I think it's things like this that have helped people get through the last year or so, because we're all online now, so why not do these kind of chats and have meetings and things? And I think it just helps, doesn't it? But social media can be pretty overwhelming, especially to try and keep up with trends as well, I find. So there's lots of great calendars out there for certain days. Do you try and do collabs as well? I know you've got one coming up in a few weeks' time.
Yes, my friend Carol and I are hosting a Canada Day cookie collab. This is my little beaver that I posted to announce the collab. So that's going to be on July 1st. And yeah, I did my first collab, I guess, back in January or so, and I had no idea what it was. Kind of when I first saw it, I'm like, what is this? Are we like collaborating on a design or what? Which I think a lot of people are like, what the heck, when they first see it. But basically it's just a theme and everyone posts on the same day and uses a hashtag. And oh, thank you. And it helps with engagement and getting everyone to kind of comment on each other's posts. And usually I get a whole bunch of new followers when I do a collab, so it helps people, especially people who maybe don't have that big of Instagram accounts and are trying to grow. You know, it helps kind of get their name out there too, because you see all these amazing cookies and they're like, oh, I've never heard of this person. And it's a pretty fun way to support each other and be creative and see what everyone else does.
It's a good way as well. If you're struggling for content, then search for collabs on Instagram, and it's just going to give you something that you can work on if you're looking to fill spaces in your calendar as well. I've started to join them more recently now, just again to give me a little bit more planning with my posts, rather than trying to make things that I think will look nice. I want to try and make things that are kind of a bit more on trend as well. So I think collabs are, like you say, a really great idea for engagement. Oh, Shay says she wants to pinch his little maple leaf.
Of course she does.
That's awesome. Any final words of wisdom you have for anyone that's watching, of any little tidbits you want to share to help people with their cookies?
I would say just don't give up if you're struggling with something, or if something seems to not make sense to you. I think with cookies, there's been like so many sort of points where I wanted to try something new and be like, oh, I don't know, that seems weird, or that doesn't work. Or I wanted to learn painting and I'm like, oh, I don't, this isn't like working for me. And then you know, I took a class and I was like, oh, okay, like I've kind of got this now, and I was able to sort of move into the next stage, I guess, of having another tool I could use. And I think a big thing is take classes. Like there's so many amazing online classes by so many amazing cookiers, and that's really when I first got started. That's all I was doing at first, and even now, like I take the time out to do classes and improve my skills, and I find it always helps me on my next set. I'm like, oh, like that's something I wouldn't necessarily have done before, and now I'm going to try it in this set because it's something I learned in a class. So yeah, take classes.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you can never stop learning. There's always a new technique that comes out, or one that's revised from years ago that just becomes a trend again. So it's true. Classes are so helpful. You can never learn everything with this kind of industry, I don't think. So that's a great tip. Okay, so I think that's all the questions I had for you this evening. Thank you so much to everyone that watched, and to Devon as well for jumping in and doing this with me this week. I am going to try and do them every week. So for those of you that are watching, if this is something you'd like to have a go at and come in live with me one week, then just drop me a DM and we can set up a time for that. Next week, I've got Katrin from the Curly Top Bake Shop. She's going to be joining me and talking about her cookie business. And I think that's it from me. So if you want to watch this again, this should be saved to my IGTV as long as I do it correctly when we finish. And that's it. So thank you for watching. Thanks again, Devon, and I'll see everybody next week.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Angela.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everyone.
You too. Bye.
Bye.